CBRadioMagazine.com. We're going to do a review of the Freedom 1 by Ranger. This is the TR-696FD1 radio. It's a 40-channel AM and single sideband radio. This radio does have a 6-digit frequency counter. The radio has pretty much standard controls. It's got the mic gain, volume, squelch control knobs, the RF gain and SWR calibration. It has a selector for SRF calibration or SWR that controls the meter area. This is the mode switch for whichever mode you're wanting to operate. It has an AM, lower sideband, upper sideband, and it also has a PA function. This radio does have a PA jack on the back. This is your clarifier, your channel selector knob. This will show you your channel. It has a button layout similar to some other radios we've seen, and also the most recent is the SS158EDX, which is a 10-meter radio by Ranger, kind of using the same layout. On this radio there's a counter button which controls the counter. It can turn it on or off on the display. You've got your ANL and NB for noise blanking. You've got a tone control button. This controls high and low tones on the radio. It's got a dimmer button just to dim the display, and a channel 19 instant switch. Let's turn the radio on. So far I've been impressed with the radio. We're out here in a non-heated area. It's about 40 degrees probably, pretty cool. I've been out here a couple times to turn the radio on and off during testing, and each time I've turned it on it's come right on frequency there. Haven't really noticed a whole lot of drift problems or anything. The frequency counters often in these radios with the 6-digit, sometimes the counter itself will change. In terms of drift on sideband, I haven't really noticed any at all. The radio seems fairly stable. The counter button, I'll show you that here. It does turn the counter off, so if you're looking for a little more simplicity when you're driving, you don't want the counter on or just the brightness or distraction or whatever, you can turn it off. One of the neat things is this high tone, low tone switch. I'll give you an example here with the static. It's kind of a high hissing static. You hit that tone control and it definitely drops it down into a lower tone. It's kind of nice to cut out some of the high-end hiss if you have that in your receive. The dimming button will show you the display there being dimmed. It dims it quite a bit, which would be nice at night. During the day, I think most people would need to run it in the higher position. And as you can see, there's the channel 19 button, turning the radio to channel 19. I did perform the Talkback Modification on this radio by removing a component and inside the radio, and then it gives you a talkback. It's not super loud, but let me display it for you. I've got a DM452 Echo mic hooked up, so what I'll do is I'll just give you a quick chance to hear the talkback, and then I'll also put on the audio. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 audio. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 audio. Basically, it's the area we're going to be getting into. We're going to need to remove 5 screws. There's going to be 2 on each side. There's going to be 1 screw in the back. We're going to be removing the speaker side of the radio. On this radio from the factory, there is going to be a warranty sticker on the side. It says basically if you remove the sticker you void the warranty, so you have to decide if that's something you're going to want to do. Okay, one of the first things anyone ever asks about a radio is they want louder modulation. So we're going to take a little closer view and show you where the modulation point in this radio is going to be. It's going to be more towards the rear of the radio. It's going to be VR16. We'll point it out right here. That would be your modulation pot, so you can adjust that for more or less modulation, however you're interested in running your radio. Second thing most people are going to be interested in is how to adjust the AM dead key. On this particular chassis, it's going to be VR14, which is going to be right here. That's going to be your AM power adjustment, so you can adjust your radio down to a dead key of 1 watt. Your ALC adjustment for single sideband is going to be VR13. It's going to be back here. And basically those 3 points are the ones that are going to be most popular, so that's all we'll cover here. Once again, it's your modulation pot, your AM power, and your single sideband ALC control here. Okay, this is the front of the radio. It's going to be a little bit hard to see because one of the pots is kind of hidden by some wires, but we'll get in here. Your AM adjustment, frequency adjustment is going to be right here. That is L20, L21 is going to be your upper sideband adjustment, and this little guy right here is going to be L22. That'll be your lower sideband frequency adjustment. It's kind of hidden in here, but underneath here there's actually a pot just below these, and it's the white and blue style pot. That's going to be your TX offset. One other thing I'll show you on this radio is that it does have the ability to add talkback without doing the resistor modification, bridging the PA and external speaker by soldering on the resistor there. This radio, all you need to do is remove a component and you can add the talkback. Kind of nice and easy modification. You just have to be a little careful in picking out where your soldering is so that you make sure you unsolder the right component. What we're going to do is just remove D75. It's located right this area of the radio. There's a bunch of numbers around it. Those refer to the other components. The D75 is going to be right up underneath the white piece here, and you can see where the component was. It's been removed on this radio. I did remove it just to see how loud the talkback is. It's not a real loud talkback, but it's nice. It's not too annoying, and I didn't have any problems with feedback, even with adding a power microphone. So it's a nice moderate level, good enough to hear yourself if you're trying to run an echo or something. If you're on the freeway and it's loud, you may not be able to hear it that much. There is another way to try and make it louder. That is available on the Ranger texts and tips they have on their website.